What's up guys, welcome back to the Homebar Pro. So temperature's changing outside, it's feeling a little bit more chilly, so I want to do something sort of more autumnal. So we're essentially doing a whiskey sour with a few variations, alright? So first things first, I'm going to be using lemon juice in this sour, so I'm going to juice that first. I always like to start with the least expensive ingredients first. That way, if you make a mistake, it's not too much of a loss to toss it out. Alright, so I'm going to fresh strain this lemon here, and I'm looking for about an ounce total juice. So I'm running this directly through the strainer to catch any pulp or seeds. Now, I won't be double straining the drink at the end, so this is an important step to make sure you have a nice clean cocktail. So we've got our 1 ounce of lemon juice. I'm gonna add that to the small side of a mixing tin. And then in any whiskey sour or any sour style cocktail, you need a sour component, that's lemon juice in this case, and you also need a sweet component. In this case, rather than something like a simple syrup, we're actually gonna use a orange curacao. Now, you could use a triple sec to get your orange flavor, but I think with aged spirits, like bourbon in this case, I think that a curacao, which is cognac base versus a triple sec, which is going to be a neutral base, I think the age and the fruity flavors of the cognac work nicely with aged spirits such as a bourbon or an aged rum or something like that. Alright, so equal parts sweet and sour going into the tin. Now this isn't quite as sweet as something like simple syrup. So to make up for that difference, I'm actually going to muddle some apple slices. And this is sort of where the fall, autumnal component comes into play here. So I'm just going to sort of slice up a handful of these apple slices here. Sort of gauging. So yeah, this is sort of what I wanted here. A nice amount of flavor, nice amount of sugar, and not too much acid, because we already have plenty of acid from the lemon juice. We just want to sort of balance everything out while adding a little bit of complexity and depth. I'm just muddling the apple. And this is juicing it, but also really getting a lot of those flavors from the peel, because a lot of the flavors that differentiate different varietals of apples are actually in the skin. So when you peel an apple before using it, you're missing out on a lot of those sort of distinct components. Alright. Actually lied, I forgot that this is going to be a muddled drink, so I do need a strainer because we do need to get all that pulp out at the end. So didn't really need to strain the lemon juice beforehand, but anyway, here we are. So last component, so to recap, I've got 1 ounce of lemon juice, 1 ounce of the orange curacao, got muddled apple, let's say 4 to 5 slices, or about a third of an apple. And then lastly, I'm going to do 2 ounces of bourbon. I'm using Maker's Mark 101. Just a nice 101 proof wheated bourbon. Wheated bourbons, to me, always lend a nice cherry note. I think that's going to go well with the apple and the orange and everything. Last thing, because it's sort of like an autumnal fall cocktail, I'm going to add Angostura Bitters, just a couple dashes to give it a nice spice note, sort of that allspice, clovey sort of thing that the Angostura has. I think works nicely with these apple and whiskey flavors. Now, get my glass ready here, just 1 large cube. Someone asked in the last video, the ice cube molds I use, it's a Tovolo brand, you can get them on Amazon. So this is like the King cube, and then we also have the smaller cubes that I'll use to shake with. And then when a note on adding ice to your shaker, in a professional bar, you know, you'll grab an ice scoop, you'll fill it basically as full as you can. At home, you may not want to like use all of your ice because it's sort of a finite resource. So you just want like 3/4 of the tin to be full. You want enough ice so that it rises out of the liquid, right? So it's not getting lost in there. All right, so the last thing we will do, add that all together, kind of lock those tins together and give it a nice, good hard shake for about 10 to 12 seconds. Make sure you get every last drop of that in there. And then, last step here, get our Hawthorne strainer, fine strainer, right over that big cube. Lovely color here, both from the apple and the Angostura, sort of giving it that nice hue. Alright, so this cocktail here I just sort of came up with while looking at what ingredients I had. Wanted to make like a whiskey sour cocktail, but something a bit more interesting, since we've already covered the traditional classic whiskey sour with egg white on this channel. I thought this would be a nice time to switch up the sweetener and bring in a liqueur rather than just like a syrup or something. So that combined with sort of autumnal flavors of the apple and the bitters, I think I'm going to call this the Autumn Leaves. It's maybe not the most original name, but I hate naming cocktails, so that's what you're gonna get today. And then for the garnish, I've been meaning to pick up some picks, but I don't have any picks just yet. But what I would do, sort of make this apple fan here, but I'm just gonna sort of do it without the pick. And sort of get these 4 slices. So I'm making this fan like this. I'll just sort of try to well, that's good for the photo. I think it's gonna fall over as soon as I go to take a sip, but yeah, you're just sort of getting this like fan. Maybe I could just set it on top like that. What do you think? All right, there you have it. Autumn Leaves. And now I'm gonna take a taste, tell you what it's all about. Got a little piece of apple from the garnish. I'm gonna take one more sip. Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit on the drier side compared to like a traditional whiskey sour that you're using simple syrup or something like that to sweeten. Because as I said before, the Curacao, and in particular the Pierre Ferrand Dry Curacao, is a bit drier, right? Getting lovely like citrus notes from the Curacao that are playing really well with the lemon juice, of course. But then you get the apple, which apples, what is that lending? That's like some like tannin, I want to say, from the skin, and then also a little bit of acid. I think apples is like malic acid compared to citric acid and lemon juice, so 2 different acids kind of adding complexity to that. And in the background, in the finish, just a hint of those bitters, along with that cherry note from the wheated bourbon that I so often get from wheated bourbon, such as Maker's Mark or Pappy Van Winkle. So there you have it. Recipes down in the description below, and I'll also follow at the end of these, at the end of the video here. Do me a favor, if you've made it this far in the video, clearly you enjoyed it. So I do make videos like this all the time. I try to do weekly. So hit that subscribe button and do turn on the notifications so you get notified when the new videos come out. But yeah, new videos every week, so subscribe for that. And hit like button if you like this video, because that really helps out with the YouTube algorithm and suggesting more videos like this to you. And then lastly, if you do make this cocktail, or if this sounds good to you, leave a comment down below and let me know what you thought. Alright, so there you have it. Autumn leaves. Cheers.